Is it best to own one big card or 50 smaller cards, for example? Let's talk about this. Fun topic today. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. How are you? It's another day. The sun has come up and we are on to another day. Hope everybody is doing really great. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. We're talking about sports cards, collectibles, all the fun stuff that your family is tired of hearing you yammering on about. We're glad that you're here. Also connect with me on Instagram at The Personal Finance Dad and also Twitter, The Personal Finance Dad. All right, guys, I was actually just thinking about this when I woke up this morning and just kind of contemplating my own collection, what I should be doing with my collection / portfolio, depending if you are on the collecting side, investing side, or a combination of the two, which I am. And it's always kind of one of those debates as to, should I sell off a big part of what I've got and move into one larger card or into a couple large cards? And the reason why this is up for debate is if you look at kind of the sports market as a whole, you've seen a lot of the mid-level and lower level cards have dropped fairly significantly in value. I know it's case by case, but if we're just talking about in generalities over the last year, those prices have moved downward. What hasn't really moved downward as much is the higher end stuff. And so the thought is like, okay, well, should I just be playing in the higher end stuff? Should I just, consolidate, sell off, 20 cards, 30 cards, 50 cards and get into a larger card, or sell off all of it and get into a, one big card? This is kind of what's fun about the whole thing is everyone has their own plan. Everyone has their own opinion on this. Where I really, really struggle is the collector side of me wants to have a variety of cool things. I want to have, different things, whether it be basketball or football is really kind of my first love. There's a lot of different football cards that I want. At the same time, I also see potential in some of those smaller items. If I see, like for example, I'll pull out one card, Terry Bradshaw rookie card in a PSA 6. This is not a inexpensive card, but it's also not a monstrous card. This is a card that's maybe $400 or so. I love the card. I love the red border. I love just everything about it. Am I the biggest Steelers and Terry Bradshaw fan? No, I'm not. I like Terry Bradshaw. He's got 4 rings, so he's not a GOAT, but he is a solid Hall of Fame player. And his rookie card, I feel like, is always going to have some sort of importance in that football card world. Now, not everyone collects football cards, and maybe that just sits stagnant at that price point over a long period of time. I like having it though. I like being able to, to hold it and to go back and look at it. I also have a tall boy Pete Maravich rookie card also in a PSA 6. It's just a cool card. Now, could I move out of these cards and other cards, smaller cards, and get into something bigger? I definitely could. And I think there's also an argument to, hey, there's less to store. If you got 1 or 2 kind of big cards, you don't have to worry about all the storage and all the rest of it. Probably depends on what kind of a collector you are. I mean, I think for some collectors, if they had a 52 Topps Mickey Mantle, they would let everything else go to get that 52 Topps Mickey Mantle. But there's probably a lot of collectors, especially if they're collecting kind of the mid end, small to mid end. If they added up all their cards and sold everything off, they probably could get into a 52 Topps Mantle. It's not an impossible card to find. It's not ultra scarce, and it's a very important card in the hobby. I mean, it'll cost a pretty penny, but the point is there are a lot of folks that could do that and are not doing it. Or maybe not a 52 Topps Mantle, maybe an 86 Fleer Jordan. If that's your big kind of nostalgia card, that's your big kind of card that you want to have. Again, a Michael Jordan rookie card is attainable. You can consolidate up. So how come people aren't doing it? And maybe people are doing it, but it is kind of a struggle because if you're looking at it from just, investment type stuff, you want to get into that higher end. You always hear about kind of, people, and not even just investment folks, but even more of just collectors that are trying to level up. I hear that all the time. I'm trying to level up into bigger cards. Are you trying to level up into bigger cards because it's worth more money and you think it has potential to grow more over time because it is a higher end card? Or is it a card that you really want that is that you want to collect, but you've just had to kind of flip to get up to that card? it's kind of interesting. I think there's kind of some psychological stuff going on with this sort of debate that I think is kind of fun to talk about. I think for me, I see a lot of potential in that middle tier. Now, a lot of people that, especially collectibles experts, will say if you're just looking at collectibles as a whole, get into the higher end stuff. Figure out a way to level up into the higher end stuff, because that's the stuff that's going to has the most potential to gain value over time, and also just not lose over time because it is more scarce, because it's more wanted. But I think the evolution of the hobby, and I think the evolution of just graded cards in general, I think that it does give that middle tier of important cards. So like my Terry Bradshaw rookie card, for example, I consider that an important football card. Now, if you're a baseball card collector and you don't care about football, you might be like, well, who the heck cares about Terry Bradshaw? But if you're a football card collector, you get it. It's kind of like, Walter Payton. Most people nowadays didn't watch Walter Payton play, including myself. I was 6 or 7 years old when he was wrapping up his career. I've got a Walter Payton rookie card, but it's not going to be as relevant to other people that are collecting other types of cards, Pokemon cards, or, baseball or whatever it is. So for me, I see upside in that middle tier, as well as, of course, the higher end stuff. And that's part of the reason why I've decided to collect that middle tier, because I'm attempting to make value buys, what I see as value, underpriced. I think that's what a lot of us are trying to do when we're buying cards, is we're, especially single cards. Now, if you're buying boxes, opening packs, and you're just having fun opening packs, that's one thing. But if you're buying cards with intention, I think you're always trying to look for deals. Even if you don't consider yourself an investor type. If you're a collector and you're like, hey, I'm collecting Brian Bosworth rookies or whatever, you're still looking for a bargain. You're not trying to overpay for those cards. And for Brian Bosworth rookies, you shouldn't be paying a whole lot. But anyway, you understand my point. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This can go any different way depending on what type of collector/investor you are. So it's a fun topic because a lot of people will have different opinions. So definitely kind of throw your comments in there, your opinions. I'd like to hear what your strategy is. Has your strategy changed over time? I'd like to know that too. Stay healthy, stay awesome. I will talk to you again later.